All right, I'm going to start off the show by saying hater alert. I'm just going to be honest and say I'm not like a huge fan of everything from my childhood being rebooted. I don't think I stand alone in this thought. Krystal Pino from 106.3 The Groove has a list of shows or movies or things that are coming back, and you're going to also give your opinion.
Yeah, so I'm also not a fan of it because I feel like if you're going to reboot something, you might as well just play the classics and pay those people. I mean,
right.
They acted in the originals, might as well just give them their money the right way and show them doing the work. So the first one that we are just hearing about today is the 1980s show Alf, which, if you remember watching that, I'm actually still surprised when I see it that my mom allowed me to watch it because there's so many adult jokes that I'm like, oh, wow, I totally get it now. But we're hearing that alien who likes to eat cats might be coming to a small screen near us and being completely redone. I'm wondering what Alf would say in 2018.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he was pushing the envelope then, let's see what he would be pushing the envelope. It's another one. I'm like, just leave it alone. It's fine. It was my childhood. I loved it. And it's something I know. And people are going to be like, oh my gosh, Tina, you're such a hater.
We do hear from people where they're like, oh my gosh, you guys talk about not liking reboots so much. Yes, because I feel like Hollywood is starting to lose its creative edge. And when we start to see new movies or new shows, that's when we start to say, okay, Hollywood's back. And then we hear reboot after reboot like this next one. We're hearing a prequel to the 1993 movie, which was a hit, is still a hit, The Sandlot. And I am not a fan of this because a prequel to The Sandlot means what, Tina?
It's called Look Who's Talking. Wouldn't they just be babies? They'd be babies. I mean, they were kids in this one. How do you prequel that?
I guess it'd be cool to focus on the neighbor, James Earl Jones, and how he played for the Yankees maybe before this. Some of the big, I mean, I don't know how The Sandlot came to be. It's definitely tough to say, where do you go with this? Sandlot 2 didn't do that well at all. You can't mess with a classic like that movie.
And that's what I'm saying. Some of the classics just leave them alone.
Oh, but it doesn't end there. We have another one that they're considering rebooting, which is Blind Date, that starred Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger. They're basically saying, we want to bring this back too, which again, you can do so many different spins. And you and I talked about on the Spotlight yesterday, a new Scarface is coming out. And how do you remake Tony Montana? How do you do that?
And the person that wants to redo that wants to put Denzel Washington into Al Pacino's part. And even Denzel was like, nah.
He can't do that.
He did it just fine. Actually, I want to go back, because is it The Sandlot? Is it the same?
Same writer, same director. So, I mean, okay, I get that. You're bringing back the people who brought us the magic the first time around. And I feel like some of these stars who aren't Denzel are probably thinking, yes, remind people who I am. Tell people what I do and what I did. And so maybe some of them are on board because they know it's going to bring them back up to the center of attention again, which, okay, I can get that. But wouldn't you want them just to rerun your classic show or your classic movie instead of trying to recreate it?
There's so many of these. I think that's why I'm getting a little haterade in my system, is because there's just too much. I know. Was that like so 2000 and late? Even what I'm saying is outdated. So I don't know. I know it sounds horrible, but I just feel like there's too many. I'm not on board with all of this. We also talked about on the Spotlight, we always usually talk about this, like things or memorabilia from movies or just personal belongings of like some celebrities. They try to auction them off, and I guess I'm not good at this because I always guess how much I think they're going to go for, and I'm always way, way off.
Me too.
I'm off on this next one also.
Yeah, so we're hearing that Harrison Ford's memorable jacket from Empire Strikes Back is now going to be up for auction. And when you asked me this morning on 106.3 The Groove what I thought, I'm like, maybe $100,000? No. $1.3 million is what they're saying it's supposed to go for, which blows my mind because Michael Jackson's shoes that he first moonwalked in didn't even come close. It didn't even surpass $1 million.
No.
Prince's yellow leather boots, I think it was like $300,000, something along those lines. So to know that this jacket is going for that much, I guess it stands to say how big the Star Wars franchise is and how fanatic people are about the stuff inside the movies.
That's why I think I'm so off, because like usually I try not to look at the number, right? And I'm like, okay, how much do I think somebody would pay for this or whatever? And I'm always way off. And so it just means I will not purchase anything.
I'll tell you right now, I can think of 1.3 million other things that you should be spending $1.3 million on. It is not that jacket, because what do you do with it? Does it just hang in your closet? Do you put it on display? A talking point? I mean, what is it?
Wear it to the grocery store on a Wednesday.
Sounds fair.
I think that's what you do with that. We have one more thing. I know we were talking about, reboots and things or whatever. This is kind of fresh, but it's off of a book.
Yes, so we are hearing that the details about Hillary Clinton working with Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
For me, this is huge. It's called The Woman's Hour, The Great Fight to Win the Vote. They're working together on bringing it to the small screen, which, no matter how you feel about Hillary Clinton or even Steven Spielberg, this is an epic moment for women, and I think what a year to do it. 2018, with all these women movements happening, and if you actually think about it, it wasn't that long ago that women got the right to vote. So in reality, this is still pretty fresh for us. I think this is great. I'm excited to see, especially with Spielberg on it. Are you kidding me?
And I find it to be interesting that they're not going to make this into a movie. They're going to make it into a TV show, which also I find quite interesting.
Yeah, that he's not typically in that realm. Not that he can't do it, but, I guess we'll have to wait to see.
Because he's Steven Spielberg. You can do whatever he feels like it. I know you've mentioned a couple of times us mentioning things on your show. If you want more celebrity gossip, listen weekdays at 7:40 a.m. on 106.3 The Groove, or stream it online at 1063thegroove.com, and stay connected with Krystal any time of the day on any of her social media platforms.